everybody, it's Peter, and this is going to be a fun one. This is the 2025 Kawasaki KRX Teryx KRX 1000 Trail Edition. We just call it the KRX 1000. And this is the same thing in a four-seater in the Blackout Edition. Both of these are 2025s. It's my first look at the 2025s, and I have this early look because I'm filming here at Kawasaki Way. Where is Kawasaki Way? It is part of Jim Gilbert's Power Sports. Jim Gilbert's Power Sports is the #1 volume Kawasaki dealer in the country, and Kawasaki Way is their private test track just for customers to check out these types of things all over. There's all kinds of terrain in there, and we're going to do that in a separate video. In this video, what we're going to go over is some of the key differences between these two trim lines, and we're going to talk about something that is new for 2025. Now, before we go too far, there will be things I leave out about these vehicles because each one deserves its own complete in-depth video. So if you have questions about either of these vehicles or anything in the lineup, make sure you let me know in the comment section. Make sure you subscribe as well, because we're going to come back to these vehicles again and again and again until you get all the answers that you want. So that's my little pitch to maybe hit that subscribe button, and do me a favor, hit the like button. That always helps us as well to spread these to more and more people, get better and better questions, and hopefully get you better information. So let's get going with this review. So the first thing we should do is set these in the class, because a lot of the side-by-side classes kind of overlap in various areas, and Kawasaki has definitely expanded their lineup over the years. So they have a whole bunch of variations of the mules. Mules are primarily for working, but they have a little bit of sport in some of them. And then you move on to the regular Teryx, so not the Teryx KRX, but just the Teryx. Teryx is kind of that mix of sport and working, more of a trail type thing. And then you have the Ridge in there as well, which is luxurious. You can get heat and air conditioning, fully enclosed cab. So to me, that's a little bit more luxurious. And then you have this. This to me is the ultimate sport offering from Kawasaki. Now, it is not as equipped or not compromised by having to try to be a work unit as well. So it can take care of some of your working stuff, but basically every time you try to take a unit like this and make it also a work capable thing, you kind of sacrifice the fun. This thing is all about fun. It does not come standard with a hitch, so it's not going to be something you're using for that. There are other options that are still very fun in the Kawasaki lineup, but again, when you get into this type of thing, it's full-on sport. Now, this one, of course, can handle 2 people. The Trail Edition is my personal favorite trim, but there are other trims available, including the Blackout Edition that we're going to show you. There's a lifted version on, at least on the four-seater there, that has more of a mud cable thing. So there's all kinds of trims. We're going to cover them all here, but I want to show you a couple differences between the Trail Edition and the Blackout Edition, and that's where we're going to really focus on this video. So if we move around a little bit and we maybe don't hit everything that you want to hit, like I said, we're going to come back to these vehicles, do individual videos where we can really try to hit specifics of what you want to know about them. But let's just take a quick look at the Blackout Edition for a second. So as far as purpose, the Trail Edition and the Blackout Edition really kind of serve a similar purpose, but there are some key tweaks to this, not just in the color scheme, which of course blacks everything out. What I'm going to do is come a little bit closer to the front, and one of the key peaks actually I should show you here. This light bar standard, light bar in the front standard. There's all kinds of lighting things that are standard in this, including lights in the back. I'm going to zoom into them so you can see them for a second, because there's a couple things that are kind of cool about them. But what's interesting is, as we take a look here, zoom right in, you can see they have a green setting right there, and of course they can be set to a brighter setting. There's a green setting down there, not showing up great on camera on that one, a little bit better to see in person. But the point is, a lot of these extra lighting bits are supported because both of these units come now with an enhanced generator. So basically they can put out more power from the factory, so they can, from the factory, add all these lighting and other kinds of things. And of course, if you want to add things on your own, you can do that as well. So where this one has the accessory lighting, the Trail Edition would not have those, but you can put them in either through Kawasaki accessories or decorate it all up, do it all up the way you want with your own accessories. Let's take a look at the back of this one as well, just show you a couple more lights, and we'll talk about some of the utility. So staying with the four-seater here, the Blackout Edition, you can kind of see the green lights up top there. They're not showing up perfectly on camera. Again, easier to see in person. You can see the LED lighting here. The very small but very usable trunk area down here. Now, what I like about this is you've got some sort of venting through there, so anything that gets wet in here will automatically drain out. But if you wanted to strap a cooler down there, you can. What's the height? Well, I'm about 6 feet tall. From there to my fist is exactly the distance between here and this, which of course is the audio system that comes standard in the Blackout Edition. I do want to show you the 2-seat sort of trunk area or bed area, simply because the 2-seater has the same bed, but it doesn't have this audio system. Gives you a little bit more space, and that's useful to fit something like a spare tire in there. So let's take a look at that really quickly as we get a little closer to that one. So over here on the two-seat Trail Edition, again, probably the exact same parts in here. Where the other one ends here with the audio system, you can see this one's sort of rounded out. You could fit a tire in there, keep it nice and low, that kind of thing, and have some space to take that kind of stuff along. I mentioned the sort of drains in here. I don't know if you can see a little better on this angle here. So anything that gets wet in here is going to drain out the back there. And again, no hitches on these, so this is your utility. This is, again, designed fully for sport. Let's come back a little bit on this Trail Edition and take a look at some of the components from the rear. So staying with the Trail Edition here, it's just easier to show you because these bright orange bars, great for hunting season. You've got a lot of sort of pieces on here, little tie down areas, that kind of thing. So if you had to tie extra things down, you've got that. But the key with both of these vehicles is a very intentional area to make all of the engine, transmission, everything narrow. It gives you the long A-arm bars. You've got really thick, it's hard to show on camera how thick these are, but again, they do step up to give you the extra ground clearance. Long travel Fox suspension, so you've got quality adjustable suspension on these as well. And you have the same size tires on both of these units, but there is a difference. Let's take a look at those tires as we move around forward. So take a look at the two front tires on this. You have the same size tire. So it's a 31-inch diameter, it's a 10-inch width, it's a 15-inch rim on both. So the tires are interchangeable and all four tires are the same size, which if you're heading out into the trail and you do experience a flat, you only need one spare that will work on any wheel or any corner of the vehicle, which is nicer than, you know, maybe having a little bit wider rear tire or something like that, where now all of a sudden you don't have the right size spare. If you get into trouble with this and you have a spare with you, you just throw the one spare on or keep the spare in your garage, that kind of thing. You've got one spare that works no matter which wheel you have trouble with, which is good. Now, this one and this one do have a difference other than style. You can see the blacked out look here is missing this bright silver. What is this bright silver? Well, these are true beadlock wheels. So you do have a little bit more capable tires here than on the Blackout Edition, but a little bit more capable lighting and electronics package in the Blackout Edition. So just something to keep in mind if you're heading out the trails and if you specifically want beadlock wheels, they're standard on the Trail Edition. They're not standard on the Blackout Edition. So switching to the Handheld here, let's start showing you some of the things that you have inside these vehicles. And there's one thing that I really like. You have a roof over here, but as we head to the four-seater, you have a whole different style of roof. And I really like it in the four-seater. I kind of wish they did in the two-seater. Maybe they do. I haven't checked out the 2025 Blackout Edition of this two-seater here. So coming in here, first of all, you have what Kawasaki calls their Ergo Fit. They use that in motorcycle terms as well. And basically what it means, it's going to fit tall people or short people. You've got a lot of flexibility here. You have a nice square upright seat, so your legs kind of come down, much like a truck, more than a sort of Honda Civic or something like that, where your feet are more out. So that kind of gives you a nice commanding view. It gives you a pretty tall view as well. You've got good ground clearance, and then you've got a tall seat. So again, I'm trying to show you some of the things the spec sheet isn't going to show you. If you want to see some of those specs that I'm not showing you right now, be sure to check out the Kawasaki website. So in here, you have a little bit more of a bare bones look. You've got some extra, let me just kind of zoom in here. We're going to go between dummy, we're going to go, ooh, the dummy switches there. We're going to go between a wide angle and a tight angle a few times in this video. So over here, you've got two little areas there that are sort of extra switches. You could put your extra lighting in there, just your standard lighting here, which by the way is excellent. Over here, extra space for a stereo, that kind of thing. You've got extra storage up top here. This does have a little bit of a weather seal. You can sort of see there, a little bit of a seal there. So you could put a phone or something in there. Most phones are nowadays at least water resistant anyways, but that's going to help keep it more waterproof. There is a 12-volt port right over there. Of course, you've got the adjustable handle for your passenger here. Let's go a little wide angle again. So again, wide angle skews the view, but it keeps everything in the shot here. This is extendable for your passengers, so they've got a place to hang on as you're having fun. Indoor and outdoor handles here. That's a big thing. A lot of times you have to reach over the outside, and you do have a nice sort of shape to these. So they have a nice sort of protection for your shoulder, keeping your dirt off your shoulder, but you have a good viewpoint here. And you can kind of see how that works over here is to kind of give you my driver's view. It's just coming down. I can very easily lean over and see that tire, because if it was higher up, it would come kind of straight to here, and it wouldn't allow me to see that tire as easily. But it's nice, good visibility here. Compact, not overly wide, so it's very sporty feeling. I don't think anybody's going to be uncomfortable in here. I've got the seat too far forward for me right now. Actually, we can just fix that like that. Move it way back. So there we go. Nice and not too wide, but again, that sporty feel. The seats grip you, hold you in really nicely, and you've got the basic controls here for a lot of things. One of the things I really like pointing out is, we can see it there, two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, and lock. Very simple, electrically controllable. I should point out the steering is also electrically controllable. We're going to turn this thing on for a second. And electric power steering is, of course, variable rate steering. So as we take a look at the dash here, we got a little bit of glare in there, but you can see you can very huge gear indicator there. Again, the camera shows more glare than my eyes do. So you can see a tachometer, an actual true tachometer, even though it's a CVT, you've got that. You've got temperature gauges up there, lots of things you can cycle through. Very easy to see if you're in two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. And again, this doesn't change with the switch, it changes when you actually engage, so you know your wheels are properly engaged. Lower on fuel right now, volts are fine because we're running. And of course, there's a big, large speedometer over there. Again, all that glare that you're seeing is not an issue for me in person, just shows up with the camera. So that's kind of the basic of this one. You've got your high, low, and reverse type of thing there, the handbrake down there as well, cup holders down there. Let's switch to the four-seater just for a second because you have some different things in there, including a roof that I really am a big fan of. So we'll show you that right now. All right, sitting in the black edition here, this sort of four-seater here, you can see a few extra things going on. Same idea with the lighting over here, but you have an extra light switch over here. So that's what we've got on for everything's basically, actually you've got two more light switches up here. So again, extra lighting everywhere. You've got, remember, that front bumper light, so there's one kind of right in there. And then you also have the front bar lights and the rear lights as well. So all those extra switches in here, and of course the audio system there as well, which of course is Bluetooth capable, so you can put your speakers in there. Everything else very similar. Of course, the doors, now that they have speakers, you have speaker in there. That would be, I believe you could use it for a water bottle. I believe it's set up for even a fire extinguisher if you wanted to, so I'm not sure which one that is. Driver's side does not have one, passenger does. I should show you floorboards here too. All the floorboards, of course, you don't need floor mats and these kind of things, can be easily drained, but you do have nice dead pedals, so nice areas to brace yourself, both for driver and passenger. Seating positions the exact same in both, so it feels very similar to me, feels identical to me. And of course, if we look at the dash, take a look over here. Basically the same thing there. Now, one thing is you won't pick up on the camera. I am mic'd right now, but on the camera you won't hear. The engine is a little quieter in the four-seater, not because it's actually quieter, but just because the engine is further away from you. A couple buttons there to control everything, so you've got same dash there. Now we're gonna leave it on. We're gonna turn some of the lights. I think the lighting is, let's see if I can get the right lights. That's the center. There we go, center lights on. And we'll go to the center down there. So I think we've changed them from green to white now, if I remember correctly. Again, inside door handle makes it nice and easy to hop out. Let's take a look at this while it's running. All right, coming around the backside first, of course, air intake's nice and high, so if you go into a deep rut, you're not dealing with issues. LED lighting back here, which is, again, hard to show on camera, not showing up great. Over there, though, you can see those are pretty cool. Actually, they're extremely bright in my eyes right now, and the camera is kind of adapting to them. So nice lighting behind you if you needed to light that up. You know, again, that narrow, you know, the natural ability of this to have great handling because everything's so tight and narrow is a really good piece of it. Again, we're gonna do a better full review of this individually on its own. Want to show you to the front though here as well. You've got the upper light bar here, which is now a bright white as well. Again, hard to show on camera how bright that is. It's blinding me. And you can sort of see there's individually aimed there, right? So that it's giving you a nice wider angle. On this side, it goes out to the right. Out in the center, it goes out to the center. And over here, it goes out to the side. So you can kind of see it getting brighter as I move across. And that's just because it's aimed to sort of fan itself out. Down there, of course, a little more trail lighting down low. And of course, you have your regular headlights as well, which I haven't got on, just your daytime running lights there, high beams and low beams in there. Fantastic lighting, of course, on the black edition. Now over here, same headlights, I haven't got this one on, but you could put that trail light in there. Right now, this is sort of like a rubber bumper, and that is not for your winch. The winch is down lower, so some people think that's sort of a winch area there. One thing I didn't show you yet that I wanted to show you, let's just turn this thing off because you kind of saw it right there for a second. Let's turn this off. If we look up from the seats, you have that clear glass kind of roof. Now I say clear, let's see if you can see the little pattern there, sort of a dotted pattern. But this lets some light through, and in a larger vehicle with a larger roof like this, it really does add some extra visibility and just some extra light through. Again, most of the time you're wearing a helmet here, so you don't care about the sun kind of coming through. At least you should be wearing a helmet. But it really does make a difference for sort of lighting up the inside here, giving you the more of that airy feeling while still keeping you protected with that top. So I don't think it's going to let a ton of sun through. Oops, I just hit my camera there. But it is something that I really think is pretty cool. And again, I haven't seen if the two-door has that as an option. I have to look that up. You guys can let me know in the comments if you know better than I do. But this is a pretty cool way to have that roof there. So let's shut the doors here. Let's come back and we'll wrap up who these two units are for. And again, I want to hear some of your questions about what you want to know more about each one. So we left a lot of specs out. We can come back and do a proper review of both of them in the future. But these are 2025 models that are available right now. All right, so wrapping up that last scene like that, I'm sure a whole bunch of people who aren't too interested have tuned out. If you still made it to this point, do me a favor, leave some comments. Tell me Kawasaki way in the comments, maybe something like that. If you made it this far, let's narrow down who these things are for and see if they're right for you. The thing that I love about these, and again, I spend a lot of time with side-by-sides and ATVs, we're heading into the fall season where I tend to review a whole bunch of them, is Kawasaki may not have always been known for this kind of unit. There were other people that were first there, but these things are well-designed, tough, fun, and really good for the trail environment as equipped. Now again, there's different models for different things and dunes and that kind of thing, but what I love is, some people say, oh, you could get a Jeep that does this. I've owned 2 different Jeeps. They are nothing at all like this. You can go high speed down trails, you can go in all kinds of areas and have more fun. A Jeep is made for crawling through off-road. These things are both made for having a whole bunch of fun. What I love about this is you can take your passengers, you can share in that fun. What I love about this is the nimbleness and just sporty feel. This feels like a sports car for off-road, and it really is one of the better ones that I've driven in. So, which one's best for you? Again, this Trail Edition is absolutely great for a trail. It's kind of a base level unit with all the true trail stuff like the bead lockers that you would want. To me, that's the one I would get. Would I add some lighting to it? Potentially, although this lighting is very good and I don't do a ton of stuff at night. But it is sort of the base unit that would be ideal for me. Now I say base unit, it is a step up. And then the Black Edition, add some of those electronics. If you're gonna add electronics and lights anyways, you may just wanna go to the Blackout Edition and get all those things included as part of that kit. Of course, there's lots more to talk about, lots more in the lineup. If there's specific models you wanna know about, let me know. And again, if you have questions, let me know. Again, I wanna thank Jim Gilbert's Power Sports, #1 dealer in the country. Check out Kawasaki Way if you swing by. You can try these things out for yourself in the trail environment, all kinds of different stuff in there, so you can try that out. And we'll probably end up taking these on the trail there as well for a future video. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll talk to you in the next one.